keep them away. And
Yes.
we've been doing it with very limited numbers and social distancing and cleaning,
Cleaning
but
everything.
everything, sanitizing. But we're just getting too nervous now, really, I
Yeah.
think. And
Wow.
so we're hoping to extend our website staff. We're just going to try and see if we can do phone orders and home deliveries and all that sort of thing, gardeners home delivery, as much as we can do. And we've got all the Julia Donaldson books, you see, which are brilliant because
Oh yes, and
she's just
I
down
can
the
imagine
road.
people stuck at home with their not stuck at home with their kids, but at home with their kids might really, might really appreciate that.
Now, I should interrupt you because we are actually live, finally.
Right.
Finally, not quite in the same place that I was hoping to be, so that everybody I directed to might take a couple of minutes to find us. But so I should say what we have here, hold on, is Sara from Steyning Books.
Hello.
And Elly Griffiths.
Hi.
Welcome to my living room from your own place. Where are you calling me from? Where am I speaking to you at? Elly.
This is my writing shed. It's at the top of the garden. And it's really nice. You can just about see the sea from it. There's a sort of glass bit there. But it's really just a desk, a chair. There's another chair for my cat, but he's not here at the moment. I'll let you know if he comes in. And there's I'll give you a little look round. There's a bookshelf. There are the doors to the garden. There's the cat's chair. There's me. So it's a nice place to work, and it is because I'm going out of the house into the garden. I feel like I'm getting a bit of fresh air, and I'm commuting to work. Really.
Where are you, Sara?
Well, at the moment, I'm in our kitchen because we live at the bookshop. So this is our kitchen, and there's our garden, which is lovely and sunny.
Oh, very nice.
And then if I walk through the kitchen, past all the stuff and look boxes of books, and then open this door briefly, then there's our bookshop.
Oh,
how fantastic! That's a bit of a mega experience there. That's fantastic. And I'm being waved to.
Yeah, there's Gudrun and Alice, and lovely one of our customers. But I'm not going into the bookshop at the moment because I'm over 70 and also got a weak heart. And this is my husband, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
And I'm just
Hi.
So we're both sort of self-isolating, I suppose, in a sort of way, because it's not very easy because it's a bit like Piccadilly Circus here with the bookshop and staff and everything else. But we're doing our best to stay at least 2 meters from everyone.
This is in some ways it's quite sad, obviously, because this is the first time presumably you've had to close for this time since, was it 1984?
Yes, that's right. That's right. We've never closed except for sort of Sundays and holiday, Christmas and Easter, etc., bank holidays. So yeah, it's very hard, really, very hard, to do this. But we did decide that it was safer for our staff, really, for Gudrun and Alice, who I think Gudrun, my eldest daughter, who runs the shop with me, she was in two minds about closing, but we did think in the end it just doesn't seem right to stay open. But people are always wanting to come in while we're open, so we're hoping they're going to get in touch with us. I've got 3 book groups who want to still get in touch with each other and get the books and keep in touch, and newsletters, and we're trying very hard to get everything up and running for more online ordering as well. At the moment on our website, we are very, very lucky because we've got Julia Donaldson's books, because she lives just down the road, and she's really, really happy to offer this extra thing of dedicating to each child. Yeah, this time, because we always get signed copies. We've got a big stock room of signed copies of Julia's books, which I will just show you. It's here. Can you see all her books?
Oh, wow.
And they're all signed, but she's very kindly said that now if we whip them down to her in bags, she'll say to whoever, to with the names. And she loves collecting unusual names as well. She's got a little notebook that she writes children's unusual. She's got about 4,000 names that are really, really unusual and different. So yeah, so that's one of the things we're going to try and carry on doing. And because she's got a new book coming out, What the Ladybird Heard at the Seaside. That's supposed to be coming out on April the 4th. So
that's so wonderful.
If we can continue with that, then that will be a lovely new hardback. And her book, Animalphabet, beautiful, beautiful book of alphabet, which would be handy for children learning the alphabet. That's out in paperback now, and that's very beautiful.
I can certainly see it would make homeschooling better, wouldn't it? To have a personalised signed copy by Julia Donaldson.
Now is the time.
Yes, yes.
I feel like pretending I'm homeschooling some toddlers so I can have one too, but I'm sadly not. So
you can have one, Ellie, anyway.
I do have an unusual name, my real name.
Well, Domenica, sorry.
Yes.
I keep calling you Ellie.
No, call me Ellie now, but I'm just thinking for Julia's unusual name list, I could sort of count on that.
Now, you are taking orders by phone, I believe.
Yes.
I've put the phone number on the table, which is 01903 812 062. So if you want to, I mean, they will still stay open while their front door is closed.
That's right. The shop's still operating, but it's just not, the front door isn't open for people to come in. And it is possible to see our stock on Google, actually. If you Google the name Steyning Bookshop, go to the right, scroll down slightly where it's got up the picture of our shop, etc., and all the googly stuff there. It does have a bit where it says you can look at what the stock is, and if you click on books, it does have all our stock levels and pictures of the books. It's just incredibly random.
As it should be. I mean, there's nothing like. We were talking before you came on. Me and Ellie were having a quick chat, and we're saying, well, what we need is a really big party for when you open. So I hope we can do that. Yeah, because I think the thing is, like, at some point when it all comes back, we're going to really value all the stuff that we've been missing all this time. So hopefully going into bookshops will be one of them.
Yes, hopefully. You know, I think it has brought it home to people how handy it is to shop locally and how lovely local shops are. I mean, we've got an absolutely wonderful shop up the road called the Sussex Produce Company, which is a greengrocers and food store. Well, you've been there, William, because there was a annual, I think.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah,
definitely, because we hold author events there as well in the restaurant, and Nick Hempelman, who runs it, has been absolutely wonderful. He's so resourceful, and he's had to close the restaurant, and so I could see his elderly dad on Facebook as well when they were filming it. They've turned the restaurant bit into extended the shop so there's more food, and he's just keeping Steyning fed, basically. It's marvelous, and doing free deliveries. They've just had to reduce the free deliveries to 8 for age over 70 now, but it's marvelous. It's such a lifeline, and a lovely fresh fruit and veg as well, and loads of food, you know, so bread every day, milk every day. So he's marvelous, really.
I was wondering, you know, in the last few days while you're open, whether people were buying particular type of books. Ellie put up a brilliant list of books on Twitter. It was like 10 books that will cheer you up. I mean, the last one was Just William. I can remember there was Love in a Cold Climate. There was some Georgette Heyer stuff. Has there been types of books that people have been buying over the last few days, do you think?
Yes, very popular has been Reasons to be Cheerful by Nina Stibb.
I don't know.
Oh, cool.
That's our bestseller, actually, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And she is a very, very funny writer.
Right.
So and people do like thrillers. You know, they do buy. I never know whether to call Ellie or Domenica.
No, Ellie's fine. Ellie's fine.
Yes, and yours, because I think there's a resolution to them, isn't there? And you can escape into them. So they are a very useful thing to have in times like this, I think.
Yeah.
So Ellie, how's it going with you? I mean, are you managing to get much writing done at the moment?
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose it's the only good thing really is that, I mean, we're really lucky, aren't we, William, as writers, because, you know, we can go and do that, can't we? We've got something to do. I can come up to my shed. I was just telling William before we started, Sara, that my husband said, so today we're going to deep clean the bathrooms. And I said, oh, what a shame. I'd love to do that. But unfortunately, I've got a book to write and a deadline, so I've got to go in the shed. Bye. And we are lucky because one, we've got something to do. and two, we've got an excuse not to do other things that we don't want to do. So yeah, I'm quite obsessed at the moment with online yoga. So I do that with my kids who are grown up but who are back home now every morning, and then I go up to the shed and I'm writing Ruth number 13 now.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
I'm getting on quite well with that, and I'm also doing edits for my next book that comes out, which is the Postscript Murders, and that will be October.
Yeah.
So I'm doing some edits for that, and I'm getting on well with the next Ruth book. So yeah, silver lining, I guess.
The Postscript Murders, which is a fantastic cover.
It's
Hopefully,
so-
it's on screen right now. Do you like that? That was quite neat, wasn't it?
That's so neat. I can't get over it. Yes,
I don't know how you
I
do it.
love that
cool.
cover.
It's really lovely, and the cover for the Stranger Diaries, which is the other standalone, is sort of similar and so beautiful. I do think so. Yeah, it's lovely. It was so much fun to write. So it's another standalone, and it's set right near you, Sara. It's set in West Sussex, and Steyning gets a bit of a mention in there, including the Steyning Bookshop, and so it's set. It's set partly in West Sussex and partly in Aberdeen, because they do go on a kind of road trip to Aberdeen. And it's new characters apart from the detective, who is Harbinder Kaur, who was in the Stranger Diaries.
And that's,
Good. Oh yes, she was a very nice character.
Oh,
I know,
good,
everybody loved her.
good.
And that's October, isn't it?
October the 1st. Yeah, I hope so. But yes, that's the plan. Yeah.
I'll hide that now and show the other one. Look, this one. This has been doing quite nicely as well, hasn't it?
It has.
That's not impressive.
I have to say, it did do really well when it came out. So I'm so grateful to everyone who bought it, really. Yeah, I have to say, I was number 2 in the Sunday Times bestseller list.
Yeah, yes.
And Marion Keyes was number 1, and I'm a big fan of hers. In fact, I even bought her book. But she was quite a long way number 1, so it wasn't thanks to me. But she put on Twitter that she was number 1. So I put on Twitter, congratulations, Marion, waving from number 2. And Richard Osman said that it was like Blur and Oasis for lovely people.
Oh,
Isn't that nice? So I'm trying to work out if I'm Blur or Oasis. Don't know which one I want to be, really.
I've just said excellent handling of technology, William. You see, that's the kind of respect I need.
Yeah, that's lovely Lucy Sampson from the UK Crime Book Club. Hi, Lucy.
But what was really nice about The Lantern Man is you kind of take Ruth out of her comfort zone and you put her in somewhere where she's always wanted to be. Lots of way, she gets all the respect career-wise she wants in a weird way in this book. And I love the way that she's still kind of a bit. It's not an easy fit still in that situation, is it?
No, and I did want to do that. I wanted to put Ruth out of her comfort zone, but also I wanted the move to be made. I mean, obviously, Ruth's love life is, pretty important to the books, but also I wanted it to be her career to be really important too. And, she moves mainly because of her career. So you do see her, I hope you see her in a sort of professional sort of setting. And, she's at Bookstart, she's living in Cambridge, she's teaching at Cambridge, she's living with Frank. So there is that change, but of course it's not long. I think it's probably chapter 2, or is it chapter 3, before the dark shape of Nelson appears in the doorway, and she's kind of lured back to North Norfolk because there's a murderer who will only tell where his victims are buried if Ruth does the excavation. So that sort of draws her back into into Nelson's sphere, really, and into the famous North Norfolk sphere. And there's this whole legend as well. The title comes from this legend, which is kind of that from that part of the world, about these lantern men who are these. It's a real Norfolk legend of these mysterious dark figures, and they walk across the marshes at night holding a lantern. But if you follow the lantern, if you follow that light, you're doomed. You're doomed.
We've got a question from Sven from Germany.
Oh,
Elly
hi, Sven.
Mephisto.
Oh, yes. Sven's asking if there'll be another Stevens and Mephisto. Yes, there will, Sven. Yes, thank you for asking that. So the last one was Now You See Them, which was brought the story right up to 1964. And the next one, I've sort of got a title which I think will be called The Last Curtain Call or something like that. And yes, it'll be another one. It'll be set in a hotel that's also a home for sort of old music hall actors. So yeah, that'll be next year, I think.
I want to know where we're going with Sara now. We seem to be on a real perambulation
Yeah,
round.
where are we going, Sara?
I was just going to see if they'd managed to shut the shop yet.
Okay.
They obviously haven't managed to do it. I think
It's
there's still people in there for our
too
last.
much demand. Oh, well, it's a very momentous occasion to catch you on it, but I hope it's not for that long. But yeah.
Yes,
Um,
yes. We
I
hope
can see
so.
Amy got her cat. I've got my cat here. She's not going to come up onto my lap. Hold on a second. Oh, she's run off now.
Oh,
But anyway, how are you managing to stay sane? Anyway, what's the bits? I mean, apart from reading, fiction with a bit of humour in it, what's keeping you on the sane side?
I'm
Oh, I think
really into yoga. I'm really into doing this yoga via YouTube with lovely Adrienne, and I'm on day 10 of her 30-day yoga thing. And I always hated yoga because I always found it very, very embarrassing. I don't know why. Also, I really don't like bare feet. I'm afraid I really don't like bare feet. But doing it at home on my own or with the kids, that's cured me of that. And it really does help, all that breathing and centering myself, and I'm finding that quite useful.
How's your yoga coming along, Sara?
Well, not doing yoga, I'm afraid, but I'm doing cardiac exercises, and I'm doing those. The kitchen's big, plenty of space.
Wow.
So I do that
Yeah,
every morning.
nice.
And then I've been sort of walking very briskly around the garden. And also we're right on the edge of the South Downs, so we're very lucky in that we are able to go out onto the South Downs. And until now, Rob and I have been also hand delivering books around the town. So we've
Right.
been walking around delivering books and watching everybody mowing their lawns and painting. And the sound of sawing and mowing is just everywhere.
Yeah, I
How's
can
it-
hear that from my shed now, actually.
Yeah, and in fact, apart from the deep clean that's happening at your house, Ellie, I think everybody's going to have very, very tidy houses. Either that or completely chaotic for the kids, but still.
Yeah.
In terms of shops, though, is this you're presumably going to have to take stock for a few weeks and find out stuff? Because I mean, independent shops, and you've been a real pioneer there of creating a shop that really actually helped the whole village. I think it became a sort of one of the many sort of hearts in that village, and really important to village life. And independent bookshops seem to have reinvented themselves as more than just bookshops, to actually be part of a social scene that's really important. And it's changed the whole notion of reading and how reading fits into community. And your bookshop's been really pioneering in that sort of stuff. So presumably it's been really hard to stock for a few weeks, but presumably there is something there now that you've, over the last few years, have realised that is really solid about independent bookshops.
Yes, I think so. It's people do look to the bookshop to get guidance on what they're going to read. But I mean, the sad thing is that we have done such a lot of going out of the bookshop to do things, and my daughter Gudrun, who I say has worked with me, she goes to schools all the time, and so obviously we had to stop all that, and we have loads of events normally because all bookshops now, independent bookshops, have really good events with visiting authors, and obviously we're really disappointed. We were supposed to have our Steyning festival.
Yes.
You and Elly were coming, and also Sebastian Barry and Sally Magnuson and Polly Sampson and lots of authors who've got brilliant books. So we're supplying the books. A lot of people, those are books which are very popular at the moment, and we are supplying those when people phone and order. But no, it's really sad. Anyway, you've got a question, Elly.
You have got a question. Can you see that?
Yes, I can. Where did I get the idea of a home for old musical actors? Well, I live in Saltdean, which is near Rottingdean. And in Rottingdean, there's a road called Dean Court Road, which is full of lovely sort of mock Tudor houses, sort of 1920s Tudor. And at the bottom of that road, there was a hotel. I think it was called the Dean Court Hotel. I'd have to check. But that's what it was. It was a kind of retirement home for old music hall actors and actresses. So I really wanted to use that as the setting for the books. It's very near me, and my granddad was in musical. He was a musical comedian, and so I'm really fascinated by that world. And if we were in the house rather than the shed, I could show you my granddad's playbills, and they've got these amazing names on them. I know I've told you these before, Sara, like Lou Lenny and her unrideable mule and things like that. So so a lot of it's based on my granddad's life, but this I think it was called the Dean Court Hotel. I'd have to check it out. But yes, it was a real place. So I'm going to set a murder there, I'm afraid.
You have the most amazing.
I've got to let my cat in. He's meowing at the door.
Oh, yes. I wonder if that'll get my cat over.
Well, all sorts of exciting things can happen in all people's homes,
Okay,
I'm sure.
Boomer.
You know.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot going on there. And now, look. Oh, more guests to the chat. Look at this.
Oh, there's your
cat.
Oh,
hello, Gus.
Yes, Gus.
Very good. I can see our rating shoot up there. Oh, we've lost Sara temporarily there. She's back. We'll find out. Lucy says, love the history and mythology in your books. Anne Jarvis says, so pleased to hear another Brighton book is on the way. And Jane Victoria asks, will this fit on screen? Oh, it does. I love your books, and I'm a huge fan of the series. I'm curious about your writing process. Do you aim for a certain amount of words per day, and do you tend to work more on one book, can't even read, on more than one book at once?
Oh, thank you for that question. I've moved the cat's tail out the way now. Well, I am one of those people who tries to do 1,000 words a day. That's my kind of mantra. I do try and do that. I usually work in the mornings. I start work about 8 and carry on till sort of midday. I can only really write one book at a time. And I put it like that because I can, like at the moment, I'm editing one book and writing another. I can do that sort of thing. Because William, I remember you saying to me once that you were writing one book in the morning and another in the afternoon. Is that right?
It's true, I am. And actually, it's been really successful. Except, yeah, I think it has been successful because I'm writing more words than I normally write. And I actually probably, doing about 1,000, 1,200 words a day, which is for me a phenomenal amount because I'm a slow writer. And it seems to re-energize the process. I'm writing a thriller in the morning, and then one in my Cupidity series in the afternoon. And then the next morning, I pick up on the one I finished the morning before and swap over. So that I get sort of continuous. And actually, I've really enjoyed it because at the point at which you're hating one book and thinking it's all going horribly wrong, there's another one for you to distract you. It might not be going right either, but I find it's really energizing. I'm really, really loving doing that. Whether I can keep it up, because I want to go. I used to write a series in the '60s, and having done this, I thought,
I love that series.
Write another one of those as well. But
and I remember being on a train with you, William. We were doing a little tour, weren't we? And we'd get on a train, even if it was only for sort of half an hour, and you'd get out your laptop and and I was like some awful child because I was saying to you, William, what are you doing?
I'm writing.
You'd be like, I'm writing my book. And you were writing it. Because you can do that, can't you? You can just tune into it.
But I've got the attention span of a gnat, so I have to, so I have to do little and often whenever I can, and whenever I get excited by something, then I can do 5 minutes, and then here's Facebook, here's an interesting chat with fascinating people on Facebook, which is exactly what I'm doing now. But anyway,
I suppose because you're so good with technology, that's my lucky release, really, because I can't do anything like that. So I just have to keep writing. Though I do go on Twitter and Facebook, I have to say I do that.
Yeah. Sorry, how are you doing? Are you all right there, Sara? I can see you making.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Yes, I'm looking in the bookshop again, and it is now empty. I think they have finally closed the door. Have you?
It's been a good day. Had good sales. People buying tons of books and lots of delivery. Gudrun is going to spend the next hour driving around delivering. Meanwhile, I will be on my bike. Rob will be walking about. Sara will also leave the building. Won't you, Sara?
I will go for a walk. Yes, I'll go for a walk on the downs.
We should be applauding you, I think.
We should. It's a big moment. We're witnessing it live on my Facebook page. I'll wrap up really briefly because I think people need to get on. I think 25 minutes of us is more than enough. But listen, thank you so much. It's been brilliant speaking to you both. And a real pleasure and lovely, and hopefully again at some point, depending on how long this goes on, I might be coming back to you on a fairly regular basis.
There's a question here, sorry to interrupt, William, from Lucy saying that we've both got isolated dwellings for our main characters, and whether that's a coincidence.
I obviously copy everything Elly does. That's what. But it's. To a certain extent, it's where you want to write, isn't it? I mean, I do think you want those kind of strange places. I'm slightly aware. Oh, look, Gus is back. Unisolated cat. But yeah, I mean, I think the location is really important, and then to put people in it in difficulty, you know, somewhere they're turned on themselves. I don't know, but yeah, I'd certainly like writing about that anyway.
Yes, I do. Although, I mean, I don't know about you, William, but I'm not so keen on being isolated myself. And I think, out the way, Gus, really.
Gus,
I'm not so keen on being isolated myself, really. But I do like it. I like writing about it. I suppose I quite like writing about characters that are sort of extreme like that, you know. And, you know, if I were Ruth, I would have moved out. Please, Gussie, just move. If I were Ruth, I would have moved from that cottage a long time ago.
Yes. Yeah. It's one thing to want to imagine. In the next couple of days, I'm not sure in which order, I'll be speaking to Lucy Foley and Githa Lodge.
Great. Brilliant authors.
But I'm not sure which order they come in, because Lucy, who was going to be here today, had some problems with her internet. So hopefully that's fixed. But Dom, Elly very, very kindly stepped in because she was going to be tomorrow. So I've been shuffling people around like no end. And likewise, I want to speak to more bookshops like the Steyning Bookshop. So if there are anybody out there, please get in touch, because it'd be lovely to hear from it, because I think there's a whole different raft of seeing the world and what's going on now from independent bookshops coming on. But I'll let you get on there. Thank you so much, you lovely people.
Thank you, William. Thank you. Bye, Sara. Hope to see you again in person soon. Bye.
Bye, oh, bye.